You're listening to The Stephen Torriello Show, building a platform of liberty for people in search of truth with a dash of hope and a life worth living. The Stephen Torriello Show. And now, here's Stephen.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. As always, thank you for tuning in. There's one thing that you can count on, is wherever death occurs, the Clintons see an opportunity. And that is no different for Ukraine. Oh yeah, so here we go. The Clinton Global Initiative to launch network to provide humanitarian aid to war-torn Ukraine. These people are so awful, man. The Clintons are like the worst of the worst this country has to offer. I don't understand how anybody can support the Clintons. And listen, I did. I thought Bill did a good job. Of course, I was young and dumb. I think he did do a good job. I really do. But his wife, man, Hillary Clinton, is just awful. She is the epitome of a crooked politician in Washington, D.C., and that will be her legacy, I promise you. She is just a bad human soul. She is rotten to the core, man. So these people benefit off of any crisis they can. Their foundations, the Clinton Foundation, and now the Clinton Global Initiative, which, since they caught up to the Clinton Foundation, now they had to cover their tracks and start a new pyramid scheme. It's incredible. It is really no different than what the Bidens do. And, unfortunately, the Clintons don't have an idiot kid leaving laptops at computer repair stores. That is the only difference between the Bidens and the Clintons. The Clintons are just way more smarter and way better at it. But that doesn't make them any less corrupt than the Bidens. And what's really unfortunate is this is not like a one-off or a two-off. This is what our politics are made of now. It's all corruption. Everybody's trying to screw everybody over. Everybody's trying to chase that almighty dollar and just trying to get rich. I mean, these people, it's just so incredible, the level of corruption. So here we go. The Clinton Global Initiative will launch a new network to provide humanitarian aid to war-torn Ukraine. So recall, the Bill Clinton last year announced the Clinton Global Initiative will be hosting a leadership summit in New York in September after a 5-year hiatus. Quote, this year's meeting will focus on what it takes to keep going, to maintain and advance progress in spite of the difficulties that arise, and increase our capacity to cross the divides and make common cause with one another wherever possible to build a stronger future for all, the Clintons said in a letter to the CGI community. Man, everybody is looking to bank off of the Ukraine war. This is just how it goes. We talked about Alexander Vindman too. These people create these foundations and these LLCs and these middleman companies, and they get government contracts. They get taxpayer dollars. And you guys wonder why we're in $32 trillion in debt. I mean, $32 trillion, we should have streets paved with gold. Like, where did all that money go? I mean, look at Iraq, Iran. How much money did we spend over there? That place is worse off than it was before we got there. Look at all the money we have spent in the last just 30 years. I mean, the numbers are astonishing. After World War II, our debt increased dramatically. And all of this money, all these people like the Clintons and the Bidens and all the other corrupt politicians that we don't know about, all of them have little schemes like this, where they create the middleman companies, they skim money off the top, they do transfer fees, and we're going to train the Ukrainians on how to use weapons and how to do CPR, and then that's going to cost, $500,000. You guys don't really think that people actually buy Hunter Biden's artwork, do you? Like, nobody believes that, but yet this guy is sitting here selling pieces of artwork for $50,000, $100,000, $500,000. He's not selling his artwork, folks. He's selling influence. He's selling his connections to our corrupt system. This is what these people do. And so, look, this is what the Democrats want you to vote for. This is what they're trying to convince the American people. to vote for a continuation into this. It's truly just it's unfortunate that we have so many people willing to fall for it. But just like I've been saying in the last couple weeks, they used the hatred for Donald Trump to blind these people from what they're doing. So they'll get radical bills through. They'll get anything they want, just so long as they use Donald Trump and the people's hatred for Donald Trump as a cover. And they can get anything they want through. Look how much damage these people have done to our justice system, to our election system. Look at what they did just to our elections. Like, they completely decimated our election process in the name of getting Donald Trump. We have to defeat Donald Trump. For what? Because a guy gave the American people cheap gas? Like, you understand that these people support the decimation of their own country in the name of getting Trump? It's like, they act like Donald Trump's presidency was so bad for people. It wasn't. Hello? You know, people were filling up their gas tanks for $20. They were buying groceries on the cheap. Everybody's quality of life was improving. They were buying homes. Their money went a lot further. I mean, they were paying less in taxes. Every single aspect of this country was better under Donald Trump than it is now. And so, what are they so afraid of? Going back to a better quality of life? This is what I don't get. It's truly bizarre behavior. It's like, oh no, we can't let Donald Trump get in there. He may give the American people cheap gas. He may improve people's quality of life. People just may buy homes for their first time. We can't have that. It's like, really? Like, these people are nuts, man. Look, that's what propaganda does to people. It sure does. So CGI reconvened in New York on Monday with a speech from Bill Clinton. And here's Bill Clinton making that speech right here. Check this out.
Giving up and giving in is a surefire guarantee that we will not make progress on the major challenges facing us. Being distracted and majoring in the minors may be momentary good politics, but it's a terrible way to run a railroad or a country or build a future for our children.
People realize this guy lied to Congress, right? That's like, and they sit there and say that nobody's above the law. This guy lied to Congress, lied under oath, and what happened to him? Exactly. So, look, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. No bounds. You know what they mean to say is there's no Republican above the law. Their people are above the law anytime they want. Hunter Biden didn't pay hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars in taxes, but that's perfectly fine. You better pay your taxes. They actually want to increase your taxes. They want to tax you more. They say law-abiding gun owners are a danger to society. Well, wasn't it Hunter Biden that bought a gun illegally, lying on a federal form, and then dumping the gun in a trash can? These people are they are incorrigible, man. It is truly wild hypocrisy, is what it is. So according to the Associated Press, the Clinton Global Initiative will be launching a new network dubbed the CGI Ukraine Action Network. Great. I am sure they're going to make millions off the new aid package we're going to be sending right over there to Ukraine to prop up their government and all their government employees' pensions. I have the letter here, but I really don't even want to bother reading it because it's all full of crap anyways and lies. So it's really just a letter to skim money off the top. These people are crooks. There's no doubt about it. I mean, listen, folks, Hillary Clinton destroyed emails. Hillary Clinton destroyed subpoenaed evidence. So you're going to sit there and say nobody's above the law? If anybody should be locked away in jail, if anybody should be held accountable for their crimes, it should be Hillary Clinton. And the only reason why she's not being charged is that they said that nobody would actually bring a case against the Secretary of State like this. It's like, really? You just indicted the former president 4 times. You SWAT raided his home in Florida, and you want to throw him in prison for the rest of his life. And he was actually allowed to have classified documents. In fact, he's the only person that has unilateral declassification or classification authority. So, I mean, what these people are doing is just in your face, blatant weaponization of our justice system. They will allow their people to go free, and they will kneecap their political opponents. It's true. It is true, like third world banana republic stuff. Lady Justice is not blind anymore. You guys, every time I say Lady Justice, it always reminds me of that picture of the woman. She has like a drape over her, and she's got scales in one hand and a sword in the other hand. And she's supposed to be blindfolded, but she's clearly not. She is not blindfolded anymore, folks. And you know what? That scale's got a lot of thumbs on it. So it is clear and obvious the Democrat Party, the Uniparty in Washington, D.C. has absolutely destroyed our justice system, all in the name of getting Donald Trump, all in the name of targeting their political opponents and protecting their team. So we just destroyed our whole justice system in the name of protecting Hillary Clinton, in the name of protecting crooked politicians, and then persecuting and kneecapping political opponents. Way to go. Way to go, our elected officials. Way to go, government. You guys are great. You managed to destroy everything that we've built the last 2 centuries in 2.5 years. Way to go. I gotta say, the American people are probably ecstatic, getting ready to vote for the continuation of this. I can't imagine anybody not wanting to pull the lever for 4 more years of this. Way to go. Way to go, Democrats. Way to go. And I don't want people to get confused. I really don't. I could pick on Joe Biden all day. Trust me, it's easy. Look, it's so easy, even CNN is doing it now. I could pick on Joe Biden. But these issues that we're experiencing go a lot deeper than Joe Biden. Joe Biden is just a symptom. The real problem is the Democrat Party. It is the entire party. It is the ideology. It is the agenda, the policies. The whole damn party sucks. And so it's not just Joe Biden. Joe Biden is just a symptom. I think it's important for people to focus on where the real rot is, because what's going to happen is they're getting ready to throw Joe Biden to the curb. And, we called this weeks ago, months ago, we said this. There's no way this guy's going to be able to run for re-election. And so they're going to throw his ass to the curb, and then they're going to bring on somebody else, probably like Michelle Obama. But I think it's important for people to know that it's not going to change, regardless of who is in there. The Democrat Party is a rotten party to the core. It is not going to change. Their policies suck because it has been captured by the Marxist radical left. And so even if Michelle Obama were to get into there, unless she's willing to go out and say, we want abortion up to 9 months, we want the sexualization of children, unless she's willing to get on that stage and tote the line of the radical left that we've been watching take over this country and destroy our society for the last 2.5, 3 years, she's not going anywhere. And so it's not going to change. This is the official policy of the Democrat Party. What you're watching, these policies, if you support the Democrat Party, this is what you're voting for. So what you have seen the last 2.5 years is the culmination of AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, all the radical leftists in the Democrat Party have taken control of the Democrat Party. And so it's not going to change no matter who you put in there. That it doesn't matter. And so I think it's important that we focus on the Democrat Party as a whole. The whole damn party stinks. It is rotten. It doesn't matter who is president in the Democrat Party. These people, like I said, what you've been experiencing the last 2.5 years is what you're going to get, regardless of who the Democrat president is. And so this is why the Democrat Party needs to be defeated. It needs to be defeated wholeheartedly. It needs to be the biggest landslide that this country has ever seen. We have to send a clear message to the radicals, the Marxists, and the fascists running the Democrat Party that this will not be accepted in the United States of America. The American people need to speak up and let their voices be heard, that we will not allow this type of destruction and this type of agenda and policies to infect our country in the way that it's been infecting this country the last 2.5 years. We can't do it. We are in record-breaking damage control right now. It's going to take a decade just to repair the damage the Biden administration has done to this country. I mean, in terms of immigration, you can't deport all these people. There is no way. It is logistically impossible. So all these immigrants that they have allowed in here are here to stay. They are here to stay. And you even have AOC, you have her out there being protested against by the people of New York City, saying to close the border down. And you know what her response is, right? Oh, we got to give them jobs. We got to give them permits. We got to give them stability. Folks, these people, they don't get it. It is not, an open border is not a mistake. It is on purpose. They want to flood this country with illegal immigrants. This is what they want to do. And the problem is they never, ever, they never see their unintended consequences. They never ask the question, and then what? They just do things. It's like that part in the Batman, The Dark Knight, where he goes, I'm just a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught it. This is what these people do. They've been in this progressive mode for so long that everything is just progress, and it doesn't matter what's on the other side, just do it. It doesn't matter what damage it causes, just do it. The ends justify the means. That's how these people operate, man. And so the immigration system, this is it. You're going to have, by the end of this Biden administration, probably 15 to 20, maybe even 30 million illegal immigrants injected into this country. So you're talking about, I don't know, 3 or 4 states worth of a population just inserted into this country in a 4-year period. Think about that kind of damage. Where do they go to school? How do they get fed? Who has to pay for their health care? Who pays for their food stamps, their EBT? All these things they don't ever think about. They just expect, well, first of all, they think like the money has no value to them. Like they think money could just be printed. This is where this monetary theory comes into play, is they think you could just print money endlessly until the rest of time. Oh, we're in debt? Oh, we'll just print more money. Debt doesn't exist. This is literally how they think. What is it? Modern monetary theory. They actually think that there's no such thing as debt, that when you're in a deficit, you can just print more money to make up the difference. These people don't understand anything about anything. They're really, really ignorant people. They really are. And this is what makes them so dangerous. And this is why there's so much damage that's been done to this country in such a short time. And so, moving on here, I got this article here. This is pretty concerning to me. And this is just proof. This should be proof to everybody that the January 6th protest was a false flag operation, orchestrated by the intel agencies and most likely the Uniparty and Democrat Party in Washington, D.C. That is what that was. And I have proof. All right. So Pelosi refused to hand over communications surrounding January 6th. Democrats destroyed evidence from January 6th committee, refused to call in National Guard, and Pelosi hired camera crew to follow her that day. We already did a story about the camera crew. She had her daughter following her around during January 6th. Like she had a whole entourage, like she was a Hollywood superstar, just gallivanting through the hallways while there was rioting, almost like she knew what was happening, almost like she planned it herself. Like she wanted all the best footage, all the best angles. Literally, the Capitol Police were trying to protect her and the gobs of people surrounding her, her entourage. And you had her daughter, like, kneeling down, going around corners, getting the perfect angle shots with the camera. Truly bizarre stuff. So, I mean, was it purposeful for her daughter to be there recording the documentary of Nancy Pelosi? The whole damn thing stinks, folks. The whole damn thing stinks. And then what makes it even worse is now the January 6th committee, who were ordered to retain all their evidence and documents of the January 6th committee, have destroyed like 65% of the evidence and documents. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. The only reason why you would do that is if you don't want anybody to see what you have. Like, is that not incredible? And this is what pisses me off about Kevin McCarthy. This should have been the first thing on day one. There should have been a House Oversight Committee looking into January 6th and figuring out exactly what happened. Who was involved? What did Nancy know? What did Mitch McConnell know? Who were the informants? How many were there? What did Chris Wray know? The pipe bombers. Like, there's so many questions that need answered of January 6th, and this country's not going to be able to move on until we get answers. It's just not. And so these people can hope and pray that the American people memory hole January 6th, but it's not going to happen. And when you destroy 65% of the evidence and documents you were ordered to retain, it kind of doesn't make you look really good. It doesn't make you look very transparent. So on Sunday, President Donald Trump sat for an interview with Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press. I have no idea why he does these interviews. I don't know. I can't imagine why he would do these interviews, but he does. He still does it, I guess, to reach the other side. I don't know. But I wouldn't give these people the light of day after what they've done to this man. So during the interview, President Trump argued that Nancy Pelosi is responsible for January 6th. President Trump, quote, Nancy Pelosi was in charge of security. She turned down 10,000 soldiers. If she didn't turn down the soldiers, you wouldn't have had January 6th. Yeah, that's going to need some explaining. Why would you turn down thousands of National Guard troops? And then when there is a riot, then you want to blame the guy that requested the troops? Is this not insanity? It doesn't even make sense, folks. It doesn't even make sense. If the guy was planning some massive insurrection to take over the government and hold on to his presidency, then why would he call in the National Guard troops to help protect the Capitol? And then not only that, but why would somebody reject those troops? Why would Nancy Pelosi not want those troops there? No, instead what she did was she brought the troops in the day after, surrounded the Capitol with barbed wire fence, and put machine gun nests to scare people. Like the place, it was locked down, the whole damn city was locked down, like it was like we were in The Walking Dead or something. It was crazy, man. Crazy. Machine gun nests? What were they going to do? Mow down Americans with machine guns? These people are insane. They are sick. And Nancy Pelosi, she will go down as probably the most destructive House speakers in U.S. history. Hands down. That's not even a question. This woman caused so much damage to this country during her speakership, it's not even funny. You know what she should have did after Donald Trump won? I'm serious. This is what Democrats should have did. Oh, Donald Trump won. That sucks. I guess we'll get him next time. Seriously. Think of how much better off this country would be right now if these people just accepted that Donald Trump won the 2016 election. Think about it. I mean, we would not even be in this situation. And in fact, Donald Trump, they would only have to be dealing with Donald Trump for another year and a half, and then he'd be out of their hair forever. But no, these people went completely apoplectic and turned this country into a third world banana republic trying to get one guy, one man. It's very, very bizarre behavior. And this is what happens when you have Pravda propaganda media like CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, when you have all these people spoon-feeding propaganda to people for 8 years. This is what you have. They should have just accepted Donald Trump won, let the American people enjoy the 8 years of prosperity the man brought this country, and just moved on with their lives. Because I'll tell you what, the American people were way better off under the Trump administration than they are right now. Way better. So the Democrats did not do anything but show the entire country just how awful their party is and just how sucky their ideas are. Because guess what? Just like a Democrat Biden voter told me, he's not a Biden voter now, a colleague of mine. If Joe Biden wouldn't have got elected, then the American people wouldn't have seen just how corrupt this Washington, D.C. swamp is. It's almost a sign from God that Joe Biden was elected so that every person in this country can compare and contrast between the two administrations. And now they got to see the beast without the mask. They got to see the entire damn operation. They got to see the wizard behind the curtain. Yeah, and so it does make you wonder, if Donald Trump would have won in 2020, then he would have been out in a year and a half. Then Democrats probably would put someone up like Michelle Obama, and the corruption would be continuing on in perpetuity. But no, these people lost their minds, and they pulled off their mask, and they showed the whole country exactly who they are. And so Nancy Pelosi should be in a lot of trouble for her shenanigans that she put this country through during her 4 years of speakership. So, of course, President Trump was right, and there is plenty of evidence to back him up. President Trump asked for the National Guard 3 days in advance of January 6. Pelosi turned him down. Pelosi refused to turn over information about her culpability in the security breakdown during January 6 riot for over a year to congressional investigators. Stephen A. Sund, the Capitol Police Chief on that fateful day, not only confirms her culpability along with the rest of the Democratic leadership, Sund reported that Pelosi utilized him as a scapegoat and forced him to step down as police chief. We all know now she was just trying to obfuscate her own responsibility for the attack. House Republicans later found text and email evidence that Pelosi staffers secretly decreased security at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. What? You mean to tell me instead of adding security, instead of adding levels of security, she decreased security? Jesus ages Christ, man. So Pelosi hired her daughter to film her that day as she traveled through the U.S. Capitol. And so here's DC Drano. This guy is awesome. So here's a tweet from DC Drano. His explosive story is spreading fast. So House GOP members found texts and emails from Pelosi staffers proving they forcefully decreased J6 security measures despite objections from Capitol Police and sergeants at arms. Here's the audio of DC Drano right here. Check this out.
Yeah, I think this has flown under the radar. I think it's one of the most explosive stories of 2022. Basically, while the January 6th Clown Committee was hogging all the airwaves, Republicans, including Jim Jordan, Troy Nehls, and others, were actually conducting an investigation in the background about the January 6th security precautions. And what they found and proved, what we all suspected, was that Pelosi staffers were purposely lowering security measures via text message and email with the U.S. Capitol Police Board to make it look like the Capitol was secure, but it obviously ended up not being secure. It is massively explosive. Now, this does not take away any of the, blame from some people that got violent and whatever, but Pelosi was in charge of security. She absolutely failed, and she got caught red-handed.
Yep. So there you go, folks. Because it doesn't make any sense if somebody's offering you. So, think about it. If Donald Trump was offering 10,000 national troops, then that must mean they had some pretty significant intel that there was going to be some riots that day, or there was going to be some type of major event. Hell, I knew it, folks. I remember telling my friend on January 4th or January 5th, I said, watch, something is going to happen on January 6th. I could just feel it. I just knew something was going to happen. I couldn't explain what it was, but I remember specifically telling my buddy, I said, watch, something is going to happen on January 6th. And this is why I didn't end up going. I remember calling my brother, and I remember telling my brother, I think something's going to happen on January 6th. I don't know what it is, but I just have a feeling something's going to happen. I didn't know it was going to turn out to be a false flag operation orchestrated by the United States government. But I knew something was going to happen. I just wasn't sure what. And so if I knew it was going to happen, then Donald Trump had to know. The Donald Trump administration, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, they all had to have intel. And in fact, I just read an article where Mitt Romney had texted Mitch McConnell saying that the Capitol building was going to burn down. So these people, and this was on the 5th, so these people knew that there was going to be significant action on January 6th. So why would you deny 10,000 National Guard troops? It doesn't make sense. Why would you decrease security? How much footage have we seen of Capitol Police not having the proper equipment, and come to find out that the equipment was locked up in a truck 6 blocks away for some reason? It never made it to the Capitol building. This is why people didn't have their chest guards. They didn't have their helmets. They didn't have the tools that they needed. They didn't have their non-lethal weapons. They were lacking big time on equipment. And so, there was too many things, man, for this just to all be a coincidence. this was not a natural event. January 6th was a false flag operation conducted by the intel agencies and the Uniparty in the DC swamp, orchestrated against the American people in order to do exactly what they're doing now, to label Trump supporters as domestic terrorists and to destroy this MAGA movement, this America-loving, patriotic movement of a bunch of people that are just sick and tired of the corruption in their government. They're sick and tired of all these countries coming first before them. They're sick and tired of paying taxes where these corrupt people just skim money off the top and then send the rest of it to their buddies in different countries. They're sick and tired of their country falling apart. They're sick and tired of having to live paycheck to paycheck while all these people in the Roman Empire of today living luxurious lives, flying around in private jets like Chris Wray in a private jet that we pay for, taking it on vacation. What is it, a G5? I mean, it's disgusting. And so it's like, if it was not for January 6th, if there was not this event that popped off, they would not have any reason right now to be coming after Trump supporters or Donald Trump. They needed January 6th. January 6th was exactly the event they needed, because guess what, folks? It wasn't Trump supporters rioting during the summer of 2020, burning, looting stores, and killing people. That was all Democrats. Those were all Biden-voting, BLM, Antifa Democrats. That's who they were. So without January 6th, there wouldn't be anything you can call the Republicans and the MAGA movement out for. None. This does not excuse the people that got violent. But folks, there's like 13 or 1,400 people that have been arrested and charged with crimes that day. And there was not 13 or 1,400 violent people. I'm sorry. People should not be getting months or even years in prison for walking through an open door into the Capitol and then walking back out 10 minutes later. I am sorry. That is not justice. And so just like I always say, a shame on these judges. And one day, we are going to find out that that event was orchestrated by people like Nancy Pelosi, their little cabal of people in the Uniparty, the corrupt intel agencies, and the Democrat Party. And I hope these judges one day realize what they did to their fellow Americans, and I hope these judges live forever. And so it is not surprising to me that Nancy Pelosi would have decreased security on January 6th. There is a lot of things that we don't know about January 6th, a lot of very conspicuous things. What was some random guy coming up with bolt cutters, cutting down a restricted area fence, rolling it up, and just walking away as if he was there to do specifically that job, and his job, like he was on a mission. And then that once he cut the fence, he was out. Can't see his face. Of course, he had sunglasses on, a hoodie, a hat, all of them. All these people. And then, I mean, listen, folks, the whole damn thing is just very conspicuous, and the American people should have answers. But when you have the leaders of the intel agencies at the FBI, like Christopher Wray, saying that he can't recall how many FBI informants were there on January 6th that day, that's an issue, because it should be none. Folks, it should be none. Why are there undercover FBI informants in a crowd, in a protest that is petitioning their government? How many of them incited violence? How many of them incited riots? What about Ray Epps? What's this guy up to? That whole scenario looks conspicuous. We did a show on that. You know, there's just a lot of questions Americans have. And so without January 6th, the Democrats would have nothing to come at the Make America Great Again movement for. Nothing. They would have nothing to come after them for. And so this is why I think it was all orchestrated by people like Nancy Pelosi and the cabal of people at top. What I think they didn't expect was the overwhelming support for Donald Trump right now as we speak. Folks, this is why they are freaking out. These people are panicking. You have CNN coming out and calling out all the lies that Joe Biden has been telling for the last 6 months. I don't know where the hell they've been for the last 2.5 years, but it is clear and obvious that Ignatius Paper, that journalist, this guy Ignatius from the Washington Post, he essentially gave out the bat signal, telling everybody to drop Biden like it's hot. These people are panicking. They see the uprising support for Donald Trump in massive numbers. I'm telling you, folks, their internal polls must be telling them danger, danger. Because they're going off the chain. These people are freaking out. I can give you tons of audio clips. You've heard them. And it's not just the politicians that are freaking out. It's not just the Democrats freaking out. This whole thing, and I've been saying it for months, this is not a Republican versus Democrat election. This is the American people versus the system. And so the system is run by the globalists, is run by the elites and the ruling class. And they are panicking, folks. They are starting to see the American people rising to the occasion and trying to get their country back. And so they are panicking. I got audio here from Klaus Shwab, where he actually says that the American people are rejecting the globalist system. Here, check this out.
For this reason, what we have seen in the elections in the United States, in the Brexit vote, this anger of people against globalization and against the elites. If you look what's happening in the United States, particularly, you have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. It's dismantling the system, and we see certain elements of this now in the new US administration.
Oh, they don't like the American people dismantling the system. They don't like it. They don't like it when the American people go up against the system. They don't like it, folks, when the American people go up against the globalists. I promise you, folks, Klaus Shwab is panicking. He sees it. Everything you are feeling right now, this massive movement, everything you're feeling about, all of this coming to a head, it's a real feeling you have. You're not alone. Everybody feels it. Everything is coming to a head, and something's going to happen. But what this is the American people are systematically getting their country back. They're doing what the founders wanted them to do. They're doing their duty as Americans. They are doing exactly what the founding fathers, what the framers of this country expects them to do. And so this is why you have this feeling of the American people coming together. And I'm not talking about the radical leftists. These people will never be a part of what we're experiencing right now. They never will. These are the fascist bootlicking Democrats. These people will never, ever want freedom or liberty. They want government overlords. They want an administrative state telling them what to do. These are the same people that don't believe in any type of religion or God. These are the same type of people that want to strip your Second Amendment rights away. They want to strip your First Amendment rights away. They want the government to control everything they do. So they will never understand what you and I are feeling. They'll never understand the meaning of America first. They don't. And so even Klaus Shwab, if Klaus Shwab is sitting there telling you, if he's noticing that this trend, if he's noticing this movement of the American people rising up to take their country back from the system that has put them in a decline, that has put them in the situation we're in now, then so do the globalists. He is the globalist. This guy is like the speaker of the globalists, Klaus Shwab, at the World Economic Forum. So he is speaking, he's essentially sending out the bat signal to all the other globalist elite ruling class that, look, we're starting to see this weird movement of people rejecting this elite globalist system that we've created, and they don't like it. Yeah, go figure. Well, why don't they like it? Gee, I wonder. I don't know. Do you guys think the conditions of our country are really great right now? I doubt it, because they're not. And it's all because of these freaking people. It's all because of the Klaus Schwabs. It's all because of the Bill Gates. It's all because of the globalists and the elite ruling class like Nancy Pelosi, where she can stand in front of two $25,000 Viking refrigerators eating an $18 a pint ice cream during the pandemic and telling people everything's going to be okay and how much she loves ice cream. I mean, it's truly incredible. The elite ruling class are so detached from the American life, from the regular Americans. It's not even funny. We talk about that all the time. And so it's not that January 6th was supposed to be a operation to dismantle the MAGA movement. What they are seeing right now is not anything that they expected to happen. They thought the American people would reject Donald Trump. After that, after their little escapade, they thought the American people would kick Donald Trump to the curb, but they didn't. Why? Because the American people are smart. You guys are smart, man. The American people are extremely smart. They know in their gut what is going on. I don't know what you call it. I don't know if it's just a consensus of intuition. I don't know what you call it. But the American people always manage to keep this country back on track. Right when it feels like this country is going to fall off a cliff, the American people, whether it's intuition or what, the American people as a whole always manage to save it, always manage to get this country back on track. And that is exactly what we're witnessing right now. This movement is the American people getting their country back on track, away from the globalist elite ruling class. And they don't like it. Trust me, they don't like it, and they're not going to give it up easy. They're not going to give it up easy. So this is why I say expect things to get a lot worse. But I promise you, folks, it's going to be worth it in the end. I don't know what's on these people's list next, but I would imagine it's somebody like Michelle Obama, because they're not going to run Joe Biden, even though they would love to. They would love to have another puppet that would just sign anything they put under his nose. But it's not going to happen. The guys, it's too corrupt. The message has already been sent out to the media. Look, we're dropping Joe Biden like it's hot. So time to move on to the next. So I would expect Michelle Obama to pop up into the scenes any moment now. And listen, you heard it here months ago. I said Michelle Obama was going to come up into the scene a long time ago. The thing is they are running out of time. So if they're going to do something, they got to do it soon. But listen, do not underestimate these people. What they're going to try and do is they're going to try and use a Michelle Obama. They're going to try and convince the American people that it wasn't the Democrat Party that gave you all these bad ideas and bad policies and a bad quality of life. No, it was just the Joe Biden administration. Don't fall for it. I'm telling you, folks, don't fall for it. It is the Democrat Party that gave you all these bad policies. It is the Democrat Party that gave you this bad quality of life. It is the Democrat Party that gave you the situation you're in now. These people's ideas suck. Their agenda sucks. And what they want for this country is not good. People that love this country don't want to change it, okay? They want to preserve it. They want to conserve it and make it better for everybody. They want people to have individual freedoms and liberties. They want people to have their God-given rights. They don't want to constantly be taking those rights. They don't want to be constantly changing the country, and that is exactly what the Democrat Party is. So don't fall for it when they come out with like a Michelle Obama or something like that. Don't fall for it, because that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and pivot away from Joe Biden and say, look, yeah, the Biden administration sucked, but here's Michelle Obama. She's great. She's going to be just like Barack Obama. This is the third term of Barack Obama. That is what this is. All this, the Democrat Party is essentially being run by the Klaus Schwabs of the world. The Democrat Party is now the party of the rich. They are the party of the elite ruling class. And they are trying to fool the American people into thinking that they're for the American working people. They are not. I'm sorry, folks, they are not. When they sit there and say they want to get people on welfare, it's not because they want to help those people. It's because they want those people's votes, because it's really hard to vote against free stuff. Okay? Everything these people do is to keep and regain power. That is it. That is it. Everything they do has a purpose and a meaning. So like when they flood the country with millions of illegal immigrants, that is a purpose. They're not doing it because they want to be nice and they want to give these people a better life and all the other BS that they claim is why we should have open borders. No. They want to change the voting demographic in this country. Just remember that. Everything they do has a purpose and a meaning. Everything they do is strategic. And so just keep that in mind, that when they do introduce Michelle Obama, just remember, don't fall for it. They're very, 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 very good at manipulating the language. They've been doing it for decades, and they're very successful at it. They are cunning, they are very smart, and they are very good at lying to the American people. Very good. And so there was one more thing I wanted to get into before we head out here. And so I'm not going to say I told you so, but I kind of told you so. So for the guy that left a message on my channel talking about how, you're a Republican and you're going to continue to vote Republican, but you think Donald Trump can be removed by using the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, I got something for you. So since it was the Federalist Society that started this trend, that started this rumor that they can use the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to remove a candidate from a ballot, but only in certain states. Well, the same Federalist Society founder came out and now says Trump isn't covered by the 14th Amendment. So Stephen Calabresi said his opinion was swayed by a new article arguing that the 14th Amendment does not apply to the president. Oh, gee. Is this, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with all these states already starting lawsuits trying to remove Donald Trump from the ballot, does it? So law professor Stephen Calabresi, who helped found the conservative legal group, the Federalist Society, reversed his position on whether former President Donald Trump can appear on ballots due to the Constitution's 14th Amendment, and says he now thinks the former president cannot be barred from running. I repeat, he now thinks the former president cannot be barred from running. He says, quote, former President Donald Trump isn't covered by the disqualification clause, and he is eligible to be on the ballot in 2024 presidential election, Calabresi said in a letter to the Wall Street Journal. Calabresi had previously endorsed a law review article arguing that Trump was ineligible to be president based on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which holds that some individuals who have participated in insurrection cannot hold government office. He said his opinion was swayed by a new article that argued the phrase officer of the United States. We hit into this really hard. It is impossible that no matter how much you bend and twist the Constitution into a pretzel to get the word president out of the word officer. So that all the entire damn novel theory all rests on the notion that you can turn the word officer to mean president. It's impossible, folks. And so I had somebody, and I had a lot of people telling me this, that they can see how it can be interpreted that way. I didn't see it at all. I didn't see it at all because they named almost they named senator, they named legislature, they named governor, they named every single position in Congress except for the president. So discussions over whether the text could keep Trump off the 2024 ballot have emerged in multiple states, with lawsuits seeking to bar the former president from the ballot. Groups in Minnesota and Colorado have sued to block the former president from the ballot, while officials in New Hampshire have said that Trump will remain eligible in their state. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do this, and I can't wait for this to go to the Supreme Court and get slapped down. This is what it looks like when these people get desperate. This is disparity. They see the tsunami of people that are completely fed up with this system that has been ruining their lives for the past 50 years. They are sick and tired of it. They got a small little piece of reason and rationale. They got a small little sliver of normalcy during the 4 years of Donald Trump. I wouldn't say normalcy because the Democrats made it extremely abnormal by doing unprecedented impeachments, unprecedented congressional investigations. So, in other words, if they just were to allow Donald Trump to be president like every other president, if they just were to accept the 2016 election, the American people would have had a very, very pleasant 8 years. Their quality of lives would have been better. Their money would have went further. They would have been able to save more money. There would have been more peace breaking out across the world. There would be no war happening in Russia and Ukraine right now. There's just a lot of things that would have been different if Democrats didn't lose their freaking minds when Donald Trump won the 2016 election. And so now the American people got to compare and contrast 4 years of Donald Trump and 4 years of Joe Biden. And there is no comparison, folks. It is a no-brainer decision. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to want to pull the lever. No sane, rational people anyway, is going to want to pull the lever for a continuation of their own destruction. And they're funding it. Imagine that. So not only is their country being destroyed, but they're paying for it. There's no way. The American people are way smarter than that. Way smarter than that. So, look, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I called this a long time ago. And the reason why I felt this way was because I remember listening to Mark Levin when he was first talking about this weeks ago, months ago. He called this months ago. I'm talking like, man, I think during the first indictment, during the Mar-a-Lago raid with the documents, he said they're going to try to use the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to try and remove Donald Trump from the ballot. He said it. And so I remember it from all the way back then. And listen, it just makes sense. We did an episode, I don't know, 2 weeks ago where we discussed this, and I played audio of Professor Dershowitz. He thinks it's all a bunch of baloney and it's not going to work. That if Democrats indeed did remove Donald Trump from the ballot, but only in certain states, it would essentially be the nail in the coffin for democracy. It would single-handedly destroy our democracy forever. And so, look, I don't put it past Democrats to be willing to, throw a piece of dynamite in our democracy. I don't put it past Democrats' willingness to destroy democracy. I really don't. At this point, nothing surprises me with the Democrat Party. Right when I say, they're not going to do that, there's no way they're going to do that, they do it. There is no low to them. They cannot go any lower. They are scraping at the bottom of the barrel and pulling up wood chips. They have no shame. They will not stop. They have lost their minds. But it's just a shame that this conservative legal scholar came out and brought the topic up. And this is essentially what kicked off the whole thing, is from the Federalist Papers, from the Federalist Society, these two guys writing this article. And then now all these states are like, oh, yes, thanks, man. You just gave us a great idea. And now they're filing lawsuits, and it's not going to happen. You can't just remove people off a ballot because you don't like them. You can't just remove them off a ballot just on accusation alone. Do you know what our elections would look like? So you mean to tell me some random AG can just remove Joe Biden off a ballot because he accused Joe Biden of being a traitor to this country? You can't do that, man. But again, these people, listen, they don't care. They never, ever think about the unintended consequences of their actions. Never. And so to them, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. And whether those eggs is democracy, it doesn't matter. And if democracy are those eggs, then they'll break it. They don't care. They're in this weird phase they're in this weird mindset where it's just, we got to get Trump. We got to hate him. He is Adolf Hitler. He is Pol Pot. He is they are completely fried. Their brains are fried. The Trump derangement syndrome has metastasized into some kind of psychological disorder. And they don't even know why they're still doing it. They're just doing it. They don't even know why they hate the guy anymore, because everything they were made to believe about Donald Trump was a lie. In the beginning, it was like, oh, we hate him because he's a Russian stooge and he colluded with Russia. It's like, yeah, but that was a lie. It's like, oh, yeah, so we still hate him. And then it's just like they're unwilling to admit that they're wrong. Listen, nobody likes to admit they're wrong. I get it. Nobody does. But these people just absolutely refuse to say, okay, look, we were wrong. Maybe the guy's innocent, and he's been innocent this whole time. Do you think you're ever going to hear from a Democrat that Donald Trump was a good president? No, never. Do you think you're ever going to hear from people, no matter how much evidence comes out, that Donald Trump's an innocent man, that Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong? No, absolutely not. So again, these people are never going to come out and admit they were wrong about anything. And so this is where we just got to kind of push them to the side and just focus on getting our country back in 2024. Because it is clear that we have these people on the ropes. Klaus Shwab, the ruling class elites, the globalists, we got them on the ropes. These people are panicking. They see this uprising of people that just want to get their country back. They just want normalcy. They just want to go back to the days of both parties wanted to secure the border. Both parties wanted a strong military. Both parties wanted low inflation. Both parties supported capitalism. Both parties loved the country. And I think that's where a lot of it really lies. A lot of all this madness and insanity and all this damage caused to this country all comes from these self-hating Americans. These Americans that hate America. And so, of course, you're going to want to destroy the country that you hate. You know what I mean? It's like, no, these people don't want to go live in Iran or Iraq, because if they did, they would realize America's the greatest country on the face of the planet. Well, I don't know if you could say that anymore, which is sad. I never, ever thought I would say that, ever. But it just kind of hit me. I don't know if we can say that America's the greatest country on the face of the planet anymore. I don't know. I don't know now. Because now the Democrats have just caused so much damage to this place, and it's irreversible. And like some of the stuff you can't take back. You know, like indicting former presidents, impeaching one-way partisan impeachments, kangaroo show trial courts like the J6 committee. I mean, and then if it turns out that they orchestrated the January 6th event, if it turns out that they rigged the 2020 election, like you can't take these things back. So these people have brought this country across the Rubicon like 100 times now. And so some of these things you can't take back and it's irreversible, but this damage is going to take a long time to repair. But some of it will never be repaired. I don't even want to think about what would happen if Democrats won. If Democrats rigged another election and won again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where this country's going to be, and I can honestly say that. I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know the level of damage. I don't know how far they would be willing to go to fundamentally change this place for good. I don't know. It certainly won't be good. So this is why we have to make sure we defeat the Democrat Party in 2024. I say this every show, and that's what we're going to do. And so, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next show is going to be an awesome show. I got some audio from Judge Joe Brown. You guys remember the television judge? This guy absolutely nails all the Donald Trump indictments. I never heard this guy talk outside, off of the TV show, but this guy is like genius level judge here. When it comes to the law, I mean, this guy's just throwing out previous court cases. He's throwing out all kinds of laws, names. Like this guy, he's a genius. And so I got a 7-minute audio clip of him absolutely railroading against all the Donald Trump indictments and why they're all full of S and they're all going to be turned over on appeals in the Supreme Court. So we're going to go ahead and play that next show because it's kind of long. And if you guys want to get a hold of me at StephenTorrielloShow@gmail.com. You guys send me some questions. If you want, I'll read the questions on the show. But just send me an email, StephenTorrielloShow@gmail.com. And then also make sure you share the show with your friends and family. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So I want you guys to have a good day. Have a great week. God bless you. And God bless America. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.